Mastering compliance gap analysis. Compliance gap analyses are often catastrophically flawed. Which steps can we take to ensure that the compliance gap analysis we conduct is accurate, and its results are reliable? To ensure the accuracy and reliability of the compliance gap analysis, several steps can be taken. Firstly, it is essential to clearly define the scope of the compliance gap analysis, including the specific regulations, standards, or policies to be evaluated. This will help prevent any confusion or misinterpretation of the requirements and ensure that all necessary areas are addressed. The scope should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART, to provide a clear direction for the analysis. Secondly, a thorough review of the existing compliance framework, policies, and procedures should be conducted to gain a deep understanding of the current state of compliance. This review should cover all aspects, including risk management, internal controls, audit findings, and compliance reports. The review should identify areas of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, SWOT analysis, to determine the level of compliance readiness. Thirdly, a comprehensive risk assessment should be performed to identify potential risks and their impact on the organization. This assessment should consider both internal and external factors, including industry trends, customer needs, and regulatory expectations. The risk assessment should prioritize risks based on their likelihood and impact, and the results should be used to focus the compliance gap analysis on the most critical areas. Fourthly, a detailed mapping of the existing compliance framework against the regulatory requirements should be performed. This mapping should identify gaps, weaknesses, and areas for improvement in the current compliance framework. The mapping should be based on a thorough review of the regulatory requirements, industry best practices, and international standards. Fifthly, a team of subject matter experts should be assembled to conduct the compliance gap analysis. This team should include representatives from various departments, including compliance, risk, audit, legal, and operational areas. The team should have a deep understanding of the regulatory requirements, industry best practices, and the organization's current compliance framework. Sixthly, a structured approach should be used to conduct the compliance gap analysis. This approach should include a clear methodology, tools, and techniques for data collection, analysis, and reporting. The approach should be based on recognized standards and best practices, such as the Committee of Sponsoring Organizations, COSO, or the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. Seventhly, a comprehensive data collection plan should be developed to gather relevant information and evidence to support the compliance gap analysis. This plan should include a clear definition of the data requirements, data sources, data collection methods, and data analysis techniques. Eighthly, the data collected should be thoroughly analyzed using a combination of qualitative and quantitative methods. The analysis should identify gaps, weaknesses, and areas for improvement in the current compliance framework and prioritize them based on their risk and impact. Ninthly, the results of the compliance gap analysis should be documented in a clear, concise, and transparent manner. The report should include a summary of the findings, recommendations for improvement, and an action plan to address the identified gaps and weaknesses. Tenthly, the compliance gap analysis report should be reviewed and approved by senior management and the board of directors. This review should ensure that the report is accurate, reliable, and complete, and that the recommendations are feasible and actionable. Lastly, the compliance gap analysis should be repeated at regular intervals to ensure that the organization remains compliant with the regulatory requirements and continues to improve its compliance framework. This repeat analysis should include a review of the progress made in addressing the identified gaps and weaknesses and identify new areas for improvement. By following these steps, the compliance gap analysis can be ensured to be accurate, reliable, and effective in identifying areas for improvement and providing recommendations for enhancing the organization's compliance framework.